All right, so Friday night, we're at Wisconsin International Raceway, got the truck out and made a few changes. So I did put the 4-port boost controller on it now, so I have no idea what that's gonna do. And I added bump, so now I have the brake and bump, and I can bump in. I'm gonna try a little bit higher RPM launch, maybe a little more boost, and we'll see what that does. I'm not gonna get very many passes tonight because I actually have to leave and then come back for a little bit, so I'm gonna go up pretty soon. All right, so waiting in line. We have family archery tonight, so I'm actually gonna make a couple passes, or at least make one, and then we're gonna go to archery, and then I'm gonna come back. So a couple changes that I did make. I do have the bump now, so I'll be able to bump into the beams. I'm gonna run a little higher RPM. I'm gonna try that 4100 RPM with a launch retard. So I basically offset like each additional pound of boost it's making from 7 to 12. I'm offsetting like 1 degree of timing, so it'll be launching around 10 degrees. And I also put my line lock on my bump button, so instead of having the line lock on the dial switch, I have the line lock on my bump button now, so I can just hit that thing on the steering wheel and I have the line lock there instead of messing around with the dial. And then right now, because I don't know where the boost controller is going to be, each position on the dial is 1%, going from 45 to 55%, and I'm going to try it just at 50, and my boost cut is set at 32. So that's the summary. Shitty burnout. Bump in, it wouldn't bump. Fuck. It only made 12 pounds. 50% duty made 12 pounds, which makes sense. 6 pounds, 50%. Thank you. Still at 1070 with a 1.8. 1070 and 12 pounds, I guess that's pretty good. I wonder if I just had my foot on the brake too hard. Maybe that was my problem. If I get in line right away, I might have time for another pass. Yeah, I think I'm just a dummy, and I was mashing my foot on the brake at the same time I was trying to bump. So I gotta remember that, get my foot off the brake. So I just looked at the data log, and it actually did make 16 pounds through first and second gear. And then in third gear again, the boost dropped off to 12. So it's like it's leaking again, just the same as it was doing the day that it ran the 8-second pass. So I think it is still leaking out of that thing. I think it's time for me to just get rid of that coupler, because it definitely dropped off again the same way. stop. It didn't want to record video. The truck didn't want to make boost. It bumped through the beam. All kinds of good stuff. Alrighty guys, I made a little pit stop at the house after archery, and look at this. Blow-off valve is stuck halfway open. So I'm going to try to fix that. Oh, look at that little turd. Just stuck wide open. So I wonder if that blew open and stuck there during the first pass when it was making 16, then started making 12. Loosened it up, got it to pop free, and then just using a lug nut right now, and I put some WD-40 in there to kind of lubricate this thing. It was binding a little bit, so when I loosened the bolts, last night I actually tightened some of the bolts, and today it was like binding and sticking. So actuated this thing a few times, loosened it up, retightened the bolts, WD-40, and I've just been doing this for a little bit to kind of make sure it's nice and free. And I'm gonna go try that. Alright, so got that fixed. I did test it like at a stoplight, and it did make 7 pounds like right away. So it must have just been the blow-off valve stuck. And I'm guessing that when I retightened those bolts the other day or last night or whatever, it just twisted it enough that it was binding. 60 foot at 139. All right, I'm going to try a 15-degree launch retard, ramping it in to at 1.8 seconds. So 15 to 0, 1.8 second ramp. Last time the launch was 4,100 and it made like 11 and a half pounds.
What's this thing run?
Today not very well.
Like 11?
I went like 10.7 earlier.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm looking for a 13. Like
Oh.
12.3.
Oh yeah, it's a 13. Should have gave him my tech number. 12.8.
Looks like you're gonna be my odd man out. You're gonna be my last passenger.
All right.
Got 2 bikes, them 2 cars, and then you.
Okay. You heard him, boys. Last pass. Let's make it miserable. Something. 20 pounds. 15-degree ignition retard on launch. And while I was ramping it in, the wheel spun so bad it ignition cut. Pulling 15 degrees on the launch. But I don't think I had to lift. The traction control was able to pull timing and then recover. So at the 15-degree launch, ramped into 0, and it pulled 5 degrees, and an ignition cut. Thank you. 980. 116. Wish I would have did that on the first pass. Yeah, I went 980 at 144 with a 165 60 foot. Pulling 15 degrees on the launch and ramping it in. Be curious to see when it actually ignition cut. How long into the run. Wait, but here's the important part. Oh, 0.5 reaction time. Hey, but at least I'm not like 3-4 seconds now. That's something. Because I was just kind of sitting and letting it build boost. At least I can build that, bump in, and then try to cut a light.